Okay. So we're 11. I don't care about being spoiled either, because I mean, for the same reason. You know that all the times in the history bits, he's not gonna get shot in the face. There's no tension there.
It's true.
It is kind of interesting though. Like it's very fantastic, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, very fantastic. Like, do I really believe that all of these things could happen to one person? I'm sure there's somebody. I am.
Yeah,
What's
some could
nice is
probably do it.
yeah, the things that happen in his younger life make the things that happen when he's 100 a bit more believable.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I agree.
clearly it's all kind of intentionally absurd and fantastical. I mean, on the cover it compares him to Forrest Gump, and it's kind of the same thing where he like inserts himself in all these different historical
That
events.
cover doesn't do
Which
that.
version do you have?
Oh yeah, there are like
Oh.
a million covers for this book, by the way. This one.
It says, oh yeah, that's the
same
other.
one.
Yeah.
Same one.
Oh, mine's different. I'm not going to hold up the front because it has all of my information on from Interlibrary Loan, but the back cover says a reluctant centenarian with a life much like Forrest Gump's. If Gump were an explosives expert with a fondness for vodka, decides it's not too late to start over.
I guess that's.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about Forrest Gump. Now I am.
Yeah.
Comparison.
And yeah, I guess that was a little fantastic too.
Right.
That was like high school. Maybe middle school. I don't
Although
know.
I feel like his actions, though claiming to be unintentional, are sometimes intentional
Like what?
in the book.
Like
Like
what?
how he selectively gives information to different politicians. He's like, I don't care much about politics. But then I feel like if I gave them this money, then they will do this for us. Like, sometimes he makes, like, strategic decisions.
Yeah, but I feel like they're more selfish decisions, not political strategic decisions. Like
Oh,
like
for sure.
I'm gonna do this because it's best for me, not because I care about this political party or that political leader succeeding.
Right, but I don't think Forrest Gump really does a whole lot of planning at all. He just kind of falls into
Right. No, that's true.
Yeah.
That was the comparison I was making, not the claim that, like, he was at all political.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
Like, the stuff with Stalin, he's like, you're a baby. I don't feel like working with you. You're annoying.
I don't think I've gotten that far. I got about halfway.
Well, that's where I was yesterday.
I fell asleep in the hammock this morning. Because it's warm outside.
I decided to sleep in instead of finishing.
Oh, because we are great
They were
book lovers.
Yep.
I think notoriously Jessica's the
As a
only
side note,
What's that?
I said, I
that's
think
just
notoriously
18 books over them.
I can't hear you guys when you talk at the same time. Hold on, let me try to take my headphones out. Maybe that's part of the problem.
You go first.
Oh, I think Jessica is the only one who routinely finishes.
Yeah, I can't like not finish the book.
Oh, I'm gonna finish it.
I've only not finished once.
Okay.
I usually finish. The only one I didn't finish was the ants book. What's it called?
Everybody sees the ants.
Yeah, everybody says the ants. But even then, I was only like 30 pages to the end.
Okay.
So
So-
from what you guys have read so far, do you like the book?
I do. I mean, it's kind of rambly, and I feel like it's definitely character driven more than it is plot driven. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, but I like character-driven novels. I mean, My Most Excellent Year is probably a quintessential example of a character-driven novel. It's one of my favorites. I'm gonna finish it. I was thinking about turning it in because I gotta go get Frankenstein, but I'm gonna finish it before I go turn it in.
Okay.
I don't dislike it. I feel very neutral about it. Like, I don't feel like I'm wasting my time, but I don't feel like I'm enjoying every moment. Like, I think it's because it's so rambly. Like, and I was never one to, like, pay attention a whole lot in history. Like, I like history, but I like it when it's told in story fashion. But then I feel like the rambly bits, and, like, I could skip this whole page, and it wouldn't ruin anything. Like, so I guess, like, with books like that, I get kind of annoyed that they're so long. I'm like, okay, we know you're going to meet the political leader, he's going to be mad at you, then he's going to realize you have a connection, then you're going to drink vodka together, then he's going to forge your documents, then you're going to get to another country. Like,
And maybe in there you'll blow
so, like,
something
in some
up.
respects, like, what?
So then maybe at some point in there you'll blow something up.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, in that sense, like, I feel like I could put it down and I wouldn't lose anything from not finishing it, but I don't think I would not enjoy reading the rest of it. It's just not, like, I don't know. Like, I would recommend it to people who really love history and who are okay with reading, like, very sporadic events. But I wouldn't recommend it to anyone who needs, like, the storyline to be very continuous and the characters to be very relatable.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he actually kind of bothers me a little bit. Like, so you've killed all of these people and you're not reacting to it at all. Like,
Didn't you hear he didn't kill them?
what?
Which people are you talking about that he killed?
Well,
Criminals?
yeah, the criminals.
Oh, yeah.
The elephant prick got me a little bit. I was like, really? Really?
I laughed. I'll admit
I
that.
thought it was funny, but, like, I was just like, when would that happen? Where someone's like, just sit down. Sure. Sonia?
Yeah. I really liked the book a lot. I really found it funny, but I could understand that not everybody would like have the same sort of sense of humor. But I liked, I found it funny, and I liked the kind of bumbling villains get what's coming to them type thing, and I liked the kind of commentary on politics that I thought the book provided. Like, even though he like keeps saying he doesn't care about politics, it's like unself affected by politics because he ends up in this war or this communist country or whatever. And so it's like kind of unavoidable that your life is going to be affected by politics, even if you say you don't really care. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he also, sorry.
Go ahead.
What were you saying?
Keep going.
There's also this kind of commentary that in the long run, it doesn't really matter what particular political party is in charge of a country at any given time because there's going to be some change of power or, things are going to be good or bad regardless of whether you're in a capitalist country or a communist country or whatever. So it kind of gives you this long view of politics, which I liked.
What were you gonna say, Meryl?
I don't remember. I think it was less important than what Jessica was saying. I feel like a lot of things I want to say Jessica says better. Although I have decided not to read your reviews before I read a book.
Sorry, I'm trying to find the chat because I want to drop the questions in. So there's a discussion guide if we want to use them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
I've got a bunch of questions at the back of my book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but they're the same.
I don't think I do. I don't.
Mine is better than
Okay,
yours.
question.
Might have done
Ooh.
Oh, because I'm like 5.
Well, I have international praise for the book in the back of mine.
I think mine is
Wait,
actually.
so they go back to Bali?
Yeah.
Right.
With the
Not for like 21 pages.
what's that?
Not for like 20 more pages from where I am.
Oh, okay.
Wait, no. I really like the character of Herbert a lot.
Herbert Einstein.
Yeah.
What do you like about him?
I just like how bumbly he is. Like, he's like Alan with no intelligence. He's just like, yeah, let's do this. Sure. My life is terrible. Alright, I guess I can live a little bit longer. Can I call you Amanda? I can't remember your name. Why Amanda? I don't know. Okay. Like, what?
I like that whenever Alan has to serve as a translator for one of them and they say really, really stupid things and then he makes it sound like they're brilliant. Like when Amanda's in Paris.
I like that too. Did any of you catch the translation error where it was supposed to be odometer, but they said speedometer? It really annoyed me.
No, I didn't notice that.
Me either, but I probably am not that
Annoyed
far.
me.
But I know where that is.
No, it was like in the beginning. It was in the first half.
It's one of those interesting
It's like when they
things.
stole the car or something. It was like, it's not a speedometer, it's an odometer. It's when they're talking about the car thief business and they like turn back the odometer.
Got
They
it.
said speedometer. I was like, what good would that do? That wouldn't do anything.
maybe that's how
This
stupid
car
they
is
were.
going 0 seconds. 20 miles an hour. Like, what? I thought about writing to the publisher and being like, hey, you need to change this. It
But are you
annoys
sure it
me.
wasn't? I don't remember, but are you sure it wasn't intentional to show how stupid?
No, because it was a narration. It wasn't someone talking.
Got it. Yeah, but I mean that's what I mean. Like they were stealing cars, but they were not turning back the right thing that would make it valuable.
Oh, you think you're right.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Maybe. I hope so.
It is interesting though. Well, because I mean, I kind of
It's like,
wonder if how different it is from the Swedish. You know, I always wonder this when I read books in translation.
Mm.
It makes me wanna send an email to my friend who is Swedish and say, "Hey, read this and tell me how different it is."
Yeah.
I really liked the bit. Eli, did you get to the bit about the Bible?
No.
With the last
The added line to the Bible?
line. I like that he read the entire Bible.
Yeah.
Wait, tell me the line.
Bible. Yeah.
What's the line? What do they say?
So, like, there's this, like, shipment of Bibles that was, like, slated to be pulped because there's an error in them, and this one guy was like, I don't know what the error is. I want to find it. And so he, like, read through the entire Bible using his, like, own Bible as a reference, and at the very, very end, like, the last sentence was where the blooper was.
It's on page 200 in my copy. I don't know if your page is on your phone. Bless you.
And she's 200 or 300?
200.
200.
It's at the
Let's see if I can find it in mine. What chapter is it?
The very end of chapter 15.
Yeah, they're talking about chickens.
It's page
206.
20. Yeah.
The last page of chapter 16, 15.
Yeah.
That's funny. Okay, yeah, I can appreciate the amusement. And they all lived happily ever after.
Well, okay, have you...
Mm-hmm.
So neither of you guys have gotten to the part where they explain everything to the police guy? They make up a whole story?
No, that's like the chapter that I stopped right before.
Okay. Because it's... That I just love. Like, they managed to create this entire story that explains everything in an innocent type manner. Like, oh no, it wasn't a suitcase full of money. It was a suitcase full of Bibles. See? Here are all the Bibles. It's great. It reminded
That's
me.
awesome.
Have you guys read A Confederacy of Dunces?
It's on my list.
No.
I didn't put it together like the book that much, but the fact that the author manages to like weave everything together at the very end was just reminded me a lot of how they like managed to take all of the pieces of the entire book and weave them into this crazy makeup for the police at the very end.
So they get away with it.
Yeah. And then they end
I
up
really like stuff like that.
Bali again.
Wait, what?
I really love stuff like that. Like a lot of people hated in The Prisoner of Azkaban when they introduced the time turner, and I thought that was like the most brilliant thing ever. Like I was like, that explains everything. I love it.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorite things about like that's why that book is my favorite Harry Potter book. Just because of that. I was like, oh, of course. Why not?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, what other stories do that? I read this picture book called Black and White. It had four stories all like came together at the end. Or American Born Chinese does the same thing. I love stories like that because they're complex and incredibly simple at the same time.
Right.
I think Mr. Penumbra kind of does that too. I don't know if you guys read that one.
Also on my list.
Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour book tour.
Yeah, it's also on my list, yeah.
Is that on our list? Is that one we should put on our list?
I didn't really enjoy it enough to put it on the list.
Okay.
But if you guys want to put it on the list, you can do that.
I'm trying to I think
I'd love to discuss it. I wouldn't reread it.
somehow that doesn't surprise me.
What?
Somehow that doesn't. Yeah.
I don't like rereading things. There are very few books that I like rereading.
Yeah.
I think it's just because I have so many books I want to read that like rereading books annoys me.
Fair enough.
I don't think there's like
re-listen.
not merit in it. I think there's definitely merit in rereading things. I'm just bad at it.
Well, I mean, it makes
so many new books.
So many things, you know? All the books.
All the books. There's so many books.
Yeah. Yeah, there are. There's so many books in my house that I haven't read yet. It's time.
Mm.
It'd be beautiful to be able to read books all the time. Anyway. Anyway, go ahead.
Do you have discussion questions?
I was gonna. Well,
during the chat.
Aside from stealing the suitcase at the beginning, like Alan finds himself in I don't know, like all sorts of criminal activity, but it seems like there isn't a lot that he like intentionally sets out to do. Like he intentionally decides to steal this guy's suitcase, and like that is like something he could have not done. But then like everything else was just kind of like he met this other guy who just happened to be a thief, and then he had to kind of like get away from that scene, and I don't know. You feel like there was like he was like really this huge like terrible criminal, or more like he just did this stupid thing and then ended up finding himself deeper and deeper in illegal activities.
I think he's like a more humorous like version of the protagonist in The Stranger. Like he's just amoral. Like he doesn't really think about stuff as moral and immoral. He's just like, I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I think that's probably true.
Well, and you know, it makes for amusement. The stealing of the suitcase is your inciting event,
Right.
and then everything else is just kind of. It seems like it's not happenstance, but as a result of this single inciting event. Although that doesn't account for his younger days when it's the blowing up of people, and so I guess in that section of the story, it's the blowing up of the dude in the town who tried to extort money off of him or something, or
Yeah.
did, or sold something that got him a car. That was the inciting event. Because he, likes to blow things up.
Yeah. But he didn't intentionally blow that guy up, right?
Right. Okay, true. Yeah.
So I feel like we're supposed to get this just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time more than he's like this great criminal mastermind.
Yeah, I don't think he's a mastermind. He's
But it's also not like
as the other guys.
What's that?
I don't know. I feel like he plays a larger part in the things that happen than the other guys. Like, I feel like things... Like, he's not so much in the wrong place at the wrong time. He, like, does the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like, because I feel like when I think, like, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's like, oh, I just happen to be standing here. Like, the guy in, what was it, Djibouti, he was, like, standing there when the suicide bomber was there.
Yeah.
And, like, it was like, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He had nothing to do with, like, this event that happened next to him. But, like, I feel like Alan kind of causes the things to happen at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Not always.
But again, I think
Often.
it more has to do with his own motives of just like wanting to get out of a situation or wanting to go somewhere else, and not so much like wanting to steal money or cause harm to people.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, it seems like with the as far as I am so far, with the exception of like slipping to Oppenheimer about the bomb, it seems like he's just trying to save his ass.
Right. Exactly.
I love how Truman is like, hey, come with me, and then Oppenheimer's sitting there all butthurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Or Truman is like drunk on tequila when FDR died.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think he also, because of the things that he does, he ends up in situations where he is taken advantage of to a certain extent. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you can blow things up. Okay, go blow this up for me.
Right.
And I won't kill you. So.
Yeah, and he kind of, I mean, because he says he's not interested in politics, he doesn't necessarily avoid anything political. He just doesn't distinguish between one political party or the other. He's like, okay, you want me to blow something up? You want me to tell you how to build a bomb? Like, okay. Doesn't matter to me what you're going to do with it.
Yeah. Well, it was that conversation with Truman where he's like, What do you want me? Specifically do you want me to do? And he's trying to tell him all this political stuff.
Right.
He's like, no. Oh, I want you to blow up a bridge. Okay, fantastic. I can go do that. That's all he had to say.
Yeah.
So the only thing that he really likes is blowing things up
And drinking vodka.
and drinking vodka.
Vodka.
Yeah.
Vodka. Were they drinking vodka in Los Alamos? I think they were drinking tequila.
Well, yes, that's what they're drinking tequila, but all the rest of the time.
Not that it matters, because it doesn't really matter.
So one of the questions is whether this novel is a satire,
I was just reading that.
which is how it's described on my copy. One of the quotes is that it's a brilliant satire. So the question is it a satire and what is being satirized? What do you guys think?
From my understanding of what a satire is, and I'm not a literary critic by any means, like professionally, but I don't see at all how it's a satire. So if someone wants to explain that, I can give you further insight.
Unless it's like the criminal organizations and how they go about doing the things that they do, which is kind of a stretch, really. When I think satire, the first place I typically go is the importance of being earnest, and it's a satirization of the Victorian values, and it uses techniques of humor to poke fun at these things. But I mean, is he really poking fun at politics?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the criminal element was the first question said like Lampoon. Are they referring to like National Lampoon or whatever? I've never seen any
I
of
would
it.
assume so.
But yeah, so I don't know.
I
It
guess
just seems funny to me. Good.
I guess it could be like commentary on politics. Now that you say that, I could kind of see a little bit of it. Like, we're making fun of politics and like how these political leaders are just so easily fooled by this one man who just waltzes in and out of countries.
Yeah, I mean, is that actually a commentary on, like does the author actually think that political leaders don't have good security? Like, I don't know what the message would be then.
And it doesn't seem like the humor of it. Well, maybe that they all get drunk and make decisions.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of the leaders throw like little hissy fits about things.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there could be an element that's essentially like people's own like egos and selfish desires drive so much of what happens in the world. And that's, clearly shown in the main character and the fact that everything he does is just for his own selfish means. And so then you've got these political leaders who supposedly are, have these great political values and are working on behalf of the people, but really at the end of the day they're kind of the same as Alan, where they just want their own way or their own, ends. I think you could make that case.
I think like the wasn't it, and I'm going back to the Truman thing again, where he was openly supporting one side but really supporting the other side, and at the end of the day he didn't really care either way because he had other problems like Stalin.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I don't remember if this was covered in there, but it's kind of like how America will provide weapons or money or whatever to rebels in one country, and then when the rebels take over, then suddenly the U.S. is fighting them. And
Like,
that.
not political allegiances, but monetary allegiances. Or territorial.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about, like, what is going to serve the U.S.'s end goals, more so than, like, what is the best for this country. I think there's some elements of that.
I don't know, Jessica. I think the U.S. only acts in the interest of the people of every individual country.
Oh, okay.
That was very difficult to say with a straight face.
Oops. What did I do?
Question number 3 talks about his humor and optimism, and I know we've touched on it a little bit, but I don't really... I guess he's optimistic, but I don't really think of it as optimism. I really just think of him as, like, being like, alright, moving forward. Let's go. Not like, it's gonna work out for the best. Just like, nope, can't focus on that, gotta move forward.
Well, when he's with the band of criminals, like, he keeps saying to them, like, everything's going to be fine. And they tell him, like, you're overly optimistic. But I think that comes from, once we see his whole backstory, like, everything has worked out eventually for him, in a kind of absurd way. And I think that kind of feeds his optimism when he's 100.
I like that there are not a lot of questions. Like, we are having trouble, like, coming up with topics, and I feel like usually there are, like, 13 questions. Do we want to talk about 4 or 5?
I was just looking at 4. That's something I was just thinking about how Alan defies the stereotypes of an old person and how we think they should act. I mean, on a very basic level, he clearly has his wits about him and is fairly able, which is not something we normally think about when somebody's 100 years old. But we also, I think, sometimes see elderly people as being very kind of naive and innocent, and not someone who would just decide to steal a guy's suitcase for no reason and then, like, join in with the
commentary. I think that's, like, kind of the commentary made by the criminal at the beginning. It's like, hey, old man won't steal my suitcase. Old man, can you watch my suitcase?
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it's like we kind of, once somebody gets past a certain age, we kind of assume that they don't have their own desires or personality or whatever anymore.
Oh, sorry. So Pam forgot.
Oh.
That was my wandering off into a different window.
Did you join in for the last little bit here?
No, she's at her grandma's and she's too tired to drive.
Okay.
So,
I guess.
Good.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, it seems like they're all underestimating him too. So, like, the people who are looking for him are like, oh no, he's not going to get very far. We just have to, search party. That's it. But yeah, well, I mean, it comes back to imagining him complexly. We didn't do that, and so now he's having all of these adventures as a 100-year-old person because he can. He's got limitations of his body, which Mayor made mention of every once in a while, but clearly his brain is still intact.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and like you said, part of his ability to escape and hide is that people assume so little of his abilities. Like, oh, he probably just wandered down the block. Let's go look. You know, they didn't think he could get all the way to the bus station, get on a bus, and go somewhere else.
Underestimating people.
Yep.
Did either of you watch the movie?
There's a movie.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Doesn't your copy? Mine says like no motion picture on it. So,
No.
I did say that.
See?
Yep, I see that.
Where does it? Wait. Where does it say that? I've got international best-selling sensation.
Man, I wish I had that. I hate when they talk about the movie on the book.
Yeah.
Don't you know that's how they sell more books?
That's true. I decided that it was okay because there wasn't actually pictures from the movie on the book.
I was a little irritated because one of my audiobooks, or maybe it was one of my ebooks, the cover changed, like after I had purchased it, to the movie cover, and I'm like, really?
Oh no, that's weird.
Yeah, I actually think it was Fault in Our Stars.
Ooh, trailer. Is that what that is?
Are you? Wait, what?
I just linked to the IMDb.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
So now we'll wander off in other windows.
here's another question. How do you think this would do in a movie?
I don't know. I think it could work. I think it would depend on how it was portrayed.
I wonder if that's something. I wonder if it's something we can get here.
Yeah, I wonder.
I would imagine you can because my English copy says now a major motion picture.
That's true.
But I did get this from the book depository. So maybe England can get it and we cannot.
That could be. Mine is an English version, which actually explains some of the spellings. I didn't think about that before. I did notice, like,
I still think that they call an odometer an odometer and not a speedometer.
Are you still on about that?
I am. Until I find it, and Jessica's point is proved that it was intentional.
If you find it, let me know. Because I wonder if like different printings they've done different things. I think yours is probably a later printing than mine.
Probably. It's like when they're talking about stealing cars, and they put, oh, here it is!
Page.
Wow, that was really quick. 84,
84.
which is Jessica, chapter 8. The third page of my copy of chapter 8.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Mine does, rolling back the speedometer.
Is it intentional? I feel like it's not like focused on enough to be intentional. But maybe that's the point.
Maybe it is intentional because they have misspelled jackets.
Maybe. It really bothered me.
Although, okay, so the bucket is thinking about...
odometer.
Huh?
Mine says odometer.
It wasn't.
That's why I didn't notice, because it says, is this the same paragraph you're talking about? It says, lately, however, the club had changed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now it concentrated on stealing cars and on fixing the odometers.
No, speedometer.
What's your copyright
Ah,
date?
Now I concentrate on stealing cars and rolling back the speedometer. Different translation.
oh, okay.
It's interesting.
Interesting. Who's your translator?
Rod
Not a good
Bradbury.
one.
That was really mean, Meryl.
I'm sorry. I read that
was
thing like 4 times because I was so annoyed. I'm sure he's a great translator. He does a lot better than I could with Swedish, so. I say it as though I've never made a typo in my life.
So is your translator the same as ours?
Yeah.
No, Jessica's.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's the same
the same as yours.
translator. I don't know. What? Do you both have the British version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe whoever Americanized it changed that.
Ooh, I found my postage stamps, guys. I'm looking for those. How's your day?
Well, no, it wouldn't be Americanized because at least mine isn't. Because it's an English version. English
Right.
British.
Yeah, I think what Jessica's saying, hers was Americanized.
Yeah, I'm saying if it was translated into British English first, then it would have been Americanized for the version that I have.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So maybe that.
Maybe somebody got as pissed as Meryl did.
Right. Yeah.
Probably they're probably outraged.
It's funny.
I also got really annoyed because the prosecutor made a very sexist comment on page 193. He was like, nevertheless, that was plan B because they were amateurs, a lot of them. A centurion, a petty thief, a hot dog stand proprietor, and a woman. How the hell would they be able to withstand the pressure of the interrogation room? I was like, damn it, I hate you all.
Yeah. I thought that too.
I was so annoyed by it that I dog-eared my book. And I don't dog-ear my books.
Wow.
I didn't even dog-ear my book for the... What?
Just so you could return to that page and get angry again?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't dog-ear even the speedometer. Actually, though, when we went back, I dog-eared it. Because I was really...
That's great. That is so awesome. That's not us.
I feel like if it was made into a movie, I feel like it wouldn't be made into a movie that would be something I'd want to watch over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the kind of book that I would want to reread. So that makes sense. Yeah, but we had a conversation already about you and your reread. I reread like a lot.
That's my commentary. I just read so slow, and I have so many books I haven't read.
I don't reread very often, but I would be willing to reread this one. I enjoyed it.
Maybe I'll reread Frankenstein just to prove you wrong.
There you go.
And I won't finish it just to prove you right.
I think that conversation happened before we turned the video on, so people are like, what is she talking about?
Next one, Frankenstein. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else we want to say about this then, since we've already started talking about next month's book?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay, Frankenstein next month. Yay! I'm going to do an audiobook.
I have my high school copy.
I think I might have my sister's high school copy.
I have my brother's high school copy. That's really funny.
I have a number of books that my sister had in high school. I think I have a couple of her Shakespeare.
Have either of you read Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I took I don't know how I managed to avoid it. I think the year that it was a sophomore English book, and I had two different teachers for my sophomore English, and so I think it just kind of got missed.
That's what happened to me with a lot of books because I transferred out of my high school for 1 year and then came back. So I missed like a lot of books that were read in opposite years. My brother never read To Kill a Mockingbird for that reason.
Wow. So that just got made into an ebook.
Yeah. Did it?
Yeah, and
That's a book I would reread, but have not yet reread.
I don't think I've read it since my freshman year of high school. Because when I taught freshman English, they didn't tell me. They said you have to teach the Odyssey and you have to teach Romeo and Juliet. They didn't say anything about To Kill a Mockingbird.
I didn't read it in high school. I read it in 7th grade.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, I think I might have also read it in middle school. We don't teach it in the middle school where I teach now. We don't teach it. I believe it's sophomore English.
Are you an English teacher?
I'm a reading teacher.
I need your job.
It's hard. It's actually a really, really hard job because I teach 8th
I
graders,
believe that.
and so I'm an interventionist. And so I've got 13 and 14-year-olds who read like 2nd and 3rd graders.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be very difficult.
So it is a challenge. I mean, I enjoy them, which is why I've been doing this job for 8 years. But it's tough.
Good job.
It's why I read so much, because if they see me read, they are more likely to read.
Yeah.
Because they want the things that I have.
One of the kids that I work with, I also work with kids. One of the kids that I work with didn't speak any English like 3 months ago, and one of like the community members gave him the Hunger Games because he was like, I want to read more, I want to learn more. So I gave him the Hunger Games, and in 2 days he's like, I need Catching Fire. And he was like, what? He's like, I need Catching Fire. I need the next book. I finished.
Nice.
He did not speak like almost any English when he came to Chicago 3 months ago.
Wow.
And that is awesome. And it's what else is awesome is that clearly he wants it. You know?
Yeah. He's also reading Harry Potter. I was thinking about giving him Divergent, just because I have a copy.
Go that kid. How old is he?
14?
I think it's harder to learn. Language is harder to learn
When you're older.
Yeah.
He speaks English better than everyone else in his family. So he's also been like kind of the primary translator. Which happens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot with my students too.
Your students are mostly Spanish speaking, is that right? Really?
Yeah. Yeah, border town.
Mine are mostly dialect speaking. I work with like refugee kids, so they're like they speak all different languages and not Spanish.
I think a lot of times what happens in this area of the country is that people forget that language learners are not just primarily Spanish speakers.
Yeah, that happens.
So. Happens a lot in Chicago too.
Oh, really?
Like, it's the schools. They're like, yeah, because Chicago has a large Latino population. So like every school has ESL, and they like for instance, like you can go to a school and they can give you documents in Spanish or in English, and I'm like, they don't speak that at all. I took a kid to a school the other week, and they didn't even have like his language on the drop-down menu of the registration, like online. They had to like make an exception because his language didn't exist according to the government.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
could talk
stop
about
our
this.
broadcast and then we can energetic.
Bye, everyone.